So now that we know what masks do, let's put it into practice. You're going to download the PSD file shared with you via Google Classroom. And you're going to see that there are two groups of layers here in your layers panel on the right. The first one is the first thing we're going to do. It's your check for understanding for today. You're going to click on this little arrow to open it up, and you're going to see you have two layers, a layer that has the words and then the layer that has the picture of the beach. Now what I want as an effect is I want it to look like the text is behind the umbrella. Technically, I could select out the umbrella on the beach layer, copy and paste it, put it on top, but not only does that sound time consuming, that sounds kind of destructive. There's a quicker way to make it look like the words are behind the umbrella by simply hiding the bottom of the words. So if someone didn't know better, you would think it's behind the umbrella. We're going to use a mask for that. In order to do this, you're going to make sure you're on the Wish You Were Here layer. You're going to add a mask. It's the fourth button on the bottom. Okay, and you're going to also just make sure that this is the one that's activated. You can tell the mask is activated. It has those little dotted lines. Now I'm going to zoom in because I really want to see the edges where the type overlaps the umbrella. Because we talked about how black conceals and white reveals, basically we want the bottom of these letters to be black or painted black on the mask. So that way it kind of hides those things. Now we could make a selection, or we could even use the paintbrush tool, which is something I want to show you for your check for understanding. The paintbrush tool is here. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a brush. That's it. Now with the paintbrush tool, if I'm on my layer mask, I can paint with black to conceal or hide part of this type. I'm going to make sure down here in the bottom, my color is set to black. Okay, remember black conceals. I'm going to zoom in even a little closer to get these edges, and I'm simply going to paint. Now you would think, oh, Ms. Morales, you're painting with black. Isn't your screen going to turn black? No, because I'm painting on a mask. So all that black is telling the computer is, hey, here, hide these for me. Thanks. Right? Now, if you don't have the steadiest hand, or you're like me and drink way too much coffee, it might be a little difficult to get the edges to be precise, or you might find that maybe you almost have it perfect, but you mess up a little. For example, if I get a little too heavy-handed and I click here, I don't necessarily need to undo. What I can do instead is reveal that back. So if black conceals, then we have to use white to do the opposite. So I'm going to swap this down here. This is where my colors are, to white, and I can simply paint over this with my brush. Now what helps is not having a huge brush, right? I can use my brackets to make my brush bigger, or I can go up here and change the size. If your brush is really large, it'll be really challenging to get precision. So I prefer to work with smaller brushes and zoom in really close. Now, if I want to continue this, I'm going to continue painting with black until every letter that's over the umbrella looks like it's behind the umbrella. Now, once I'm done, I just zoomed out here. You'll see that I went back and forth with the colors black and white to either hide parts of the text or show it depending on how neat I was. And if you didn't know any better, you would think that these words were behind the umbrella. But we tricked the eye and we hid pixels, and this is non-destructive. Once you are done with this part of your check for understanding, what you're going to do is take a screenshot of everything. Here's why. It's very difficult to tell if someone has done something destructively or not if we don't see their layers. So Mr. Tron and I would like for your first progress check-in for you to take a screenshot of your entire screen. So on a Mac, it's Command-Shift-4. I'm going to go like this and just make sure that I have my layers panel as part of my screenshot. That's going to be really important in order for us to see if you did this correctly. And that's our first part for today.